We are going to look into the meaning of the eternal, unquenchable fire, whose smoke ascends up forever and ever. We read Revelation 20, verse 10. And the devil that deceived them was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone, where the beast and the false prophet are, and shall be tormented day and night forever and ever. We read Revelation 14, verse 11. And the smoke of their torment ascendeth up forever and ever, and they have no rest day nor night who worship the beast and his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name. Now, this is not the first time the Bible mentions a fire whose smoke ascends up forever and ever. Let's go to the Old Testament in the book of Isaiah. We'll read chapter 34 from verse 9. And while we read, we will notice two pictures described. Isaiah 34 from verse 9. And the streams thereof shall be turned into pitch, and the dust thereof into brimstone, and the land thereof shall become burning pitch. Verse 10. It shall not be quenched night nor day. The smoke thereof shall go up forever. From generation to generation it shall lie waste. None shall pass through it forever and ever. Verse 11. But the cormorant and the bittern shall possess it. The owl also and the raven shall dwell in it. And he shall stretch out upon it the line of confusion and the stones of emptiness. Verse 15. There shall the great owl make her nest, and lay, and hatch, and gather under her shadow. There shall the vultures also be gathered, every one with her mate. In this passage, we see two pictures described, and one picture comes after the other. The first picture described in verses 9 and 10 is that of a land that becomes burning pitch. It describes an unquenchable fire whose smoke shall go up forever. The second picture comes at the end of verse 10, where we are told that the very same land in the first picture shall lie waste. Then birds like the cormorant and the bittern shall possess it. The owl also and the raven shall dwell in it. In verse 15 we are told that there shall the great owl make her nest, and lay, and hatch, and gather under her shadow. There shall the vultures also be gathered, every one with her mate. Looking at these two pictures, we realize that the unquenchable fire described, whose smoke ascends up forever, actually comes to an end. It passes away. This is because the land is later presented as turned into a wasteland where birds make their nests, they lay, they hatch, and gather their young ones under them. By the time the birds possess the very same land, that unquenchable fire, whose smoke ascends up forever, must have come to an end. Moreover, verse 13 mentions thorns and other wild plants growing there. By the time plants grow there, the unquenchable fire, whose smoke shall go up forever, must have come to an end. Let us consider Jude verse 7. Even as Sodom and Gomorrah and the cities about them in like manner, giving themselves over to fornication and going after strange flesh, are set forth for an example, suffering the vengeance of eternal fire. Here is presented the first picture of eternal fire in the case of Sodom and Gomorrah and the cities about them. Where do we find the second picture? We read 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 6. And turning the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah into ashes, condemned them with an overthrow, making them an ensample unto those that after should live ungodly. Here we see that even the case of Sodom and Gomorrah had two pictures. The first one of an eternal fire, and the second one of those cities turned into ashes, just as the unquenchable fire of Isaiah 34 turned that land into a wasteland. we see that the eternal fire of Sodom and Gomorrah, just like the unquenchable fire of Isaiah 34, comes to an end, having accomplished its purpose, having turned the wicked cities into ashes. Brothers and sisters, God's unquenchable fire has a purpose, and when that purpose is accomplished, the fire comes to an end. Even for the case of the lake of fire and brimstone, whose smoke ascends up forever, there is a second picture. Let's read Revelation 21, verse 5. And he that sat upon the throne said, Behold, I make all things new. And he said unto me, Write, for these words are true and faithful. Seeing that God promises to make all things new, then we know that the earth will not be left burning. The earth will not be left in ashes. By the time God makes all things new, the lake of fire and brimstone must have passed away. And John the Revelator is told to write that promise down, for God's words are true and faithful.